Welcome back to the channel, guys, and welcome to another episode of Makeup and Chill. Obviously, today is a little different because I am shirtless. Rest assured, though, I am not under the delusion that I am sexy without a shirt. That is not the motive. I am just sweating, and I just didn't feel like wearing a shirt. If I look completely insane in the eyebrow department, it's because I put some contour in my eyebrows to make them look a little bit thicker. It made me look like I had a unibrow. I just put some concealer here. I don't know. It's a whole journey. I'm hoping that by the end of the look and everything, I look better. If you're new here, this is a series that I started on my channel kind of sort of accidentally. And basically what I do is I put on makeup and I talk, I rant, I rave, I do whatever. Today I'm drinking coffee. But yeah, I guess let's just get right into it. I feel like there's a lot of things that I want to talk about today, but I also feel like I'm a little bit scatterbrained and I don't know what exactly I'm going to talk about. So we'll see how this goes. I want to put some blush on just because I'm going to use this blush that I got in the Unearthly Cosmetics old branding box, which if you didn't see that video, I got a literally free box of goodies from Unearthly Cosmetics. All I had to do was pay for shipping, and they sent me a bunch of stuff with the old Alien Cosmetics branding. I had like a little red spot here that didn't even go away when I put concealer and foundation on it, and hopefully this blush kind of makes it go away. You know, it's just blending in with the red. Is that enough? Is that too much? I think I'm going to also take a little bit of blush from, I'm not going to say spoiler alert every time I use a product from the Unearthly Valentine's Day mystery box anymore because it's now past Valentine's Day. So just moving forward, I am not going to be saying spoiler alert whenever those products come up in a video. But I am going to be using one of those products, actually a couple of those products today. If you guys don't know, I've been absolutely obsessed with the glowing blush palette that came in there in that mystery box. Oh, should I tell you a little bit of what else is on my face already? Because I did obviously put on a base and stuff and some contour. I used actually both of my foundations from Lancome. If you've been watching, you know I have one that's like lighter and then one that's a bit deeper. This is my old one. It's super light. This is my newer one, right? Yeah, this is my newer one. It's a little bit deeper, but I feel like this one's just ever so slightly too much, and then this one is super light. So I mixed them. I also brought my foundation down onto my neck a bit because I was watching one of my recent videos and I was like, oh my god, I have to I have to put foundation on my neck. Like the line is so visible. By the way, my window is open because I'm sweating to death. And it's like rainy out, so if you hear like drops of water, drops of rain, that's why. I hope no one like walks by and hears me shouting into an empty room and is like, wow, what's that guy doing? But yeah, so I don't know, do I want to bring this blush onto my forehead? I used my Lancome concealer as well. This is super light, but you know, in moderation. I primed my eyes with the Sigma eye base in the shade Ignite, and I just used the Kaleidos face palette for setting powder, contour, and a tiny bit of bronzer. So what do I want to talk about in today's video? I guess I'm going to take a little bit of this on my forehead. I don't want to go too hard because this is pretty pigmented. But I just want a little... is that too much? Maybe a little. But I feel like I could talk about so many things. Oh, I guess first off, today's video is going to be a neutral look. I've just been wanting to do like a really good neutral look, and I was like, you know what, like I was thinking like maybe I'll use Pat McGrath, maybe I'll do whatever, but I actually want the look to be more kind of brown than pink. Normally with neutrals I'm like, oh, I want to use pinky neutrals because they look better on me, which is true. I think that they do. But for today's video, I think I'm going to do more brown neutrals, and I remembered that I have this palette. Among all of my new palettes that I need to be trying, I have this one that I need to try. So I'm going to be doing that. I don't know, does this look nuts? I think once I have like some highlighter on, I'm going to use this highlighter. This is another one from Unearthly, from the old branding box that I got. So it says Alien on it. We're going to use this one. I think once I get that on, it'll look better. But I am also going to go over some of what I just did with some of the glowing blush from this Surrender palette from the mystery box from Unearthly. A lot of Unearthly in today's video. I'm going to use, I think, this shade here, Luscious, just a little. I don't want to go too freaking crazy, but I'm just going to bring it up here, maybe in a little more. Okay. But so that's what I'm going to do in the video in terms of the look. How has my week been going? That's something that I wanted to talk about. Not great. Honestly, I had a rough day on Tuesday. It was Valentine's Day, but I was having some issues with things at work. I got kind of upset. I ended up feeling kind of actually physically ill. That wasn't why I left work, but I did leave work early, and that is the reason that I gave my boss. Honestly though, like on my way out to my car, I actually kind of felt like I might throw up. Like, that's how just upset I was with things. I work at customer support, and I don't know. I don't want to get into a lot of detail about this stuff. Like, I could rant and rave and just lose my shit talking about this. But I don't want to. Not today. Maybe another day. I just want to chill. I just want this to be, you know, kind of a nice video. But I don't know. Some things with work lately have just not been sitting well with me. If I'm being honest, I am just not generally pleased with the attitude in that place. I'm kind of made to sometimes feel like I don't do enough, or like I'm like lazy, but I know that I'm not, and I know that I do quite a bit. And for instance, last week, or I guess when you're seeing this a couple weeks ago, there were a couple of salespeople out, and I was covering for both of them. And like, my boss gave me the one person to cover for. She was like, oh, he's going to text you orders, and you can put them in. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. Because it was fine. I didn't have any issue with it. Like, I was perfectly fine with it. But I think maybe she didn't also realize how much work I was going to also have to be doing covering for the other guy that I was covering for, because this other salesperson, I always cover for him when he's out, and I'm always like helping him with things. Like, they just kind of asked me to help him with stuff, and so I do. And so when he's out, I'm doing a lot. I'm communicating with his customers. He does not tell his customers that they should not be asking for certain things when he's away, because there are decisions that I can't make that he has to make, and customers will ask for things like prices on things, and is there an alternative to this product, and blah, blah, blah. Like, maybe this is boring to you. I don't want to talk about it forever. But literally Monday, whatever, the week that these guys were out, there were 360 something emails in this one salesperson's like folder that I'm responsible for. And most of those I had to deal with. A lot of them are, I'm just like checking orders and things, making sure quantities are going in correctly, making sure that the customer is notified. If we're out of stock on things, I don't know. I could rant and rave about it. It's a frustrating situation because it goes deeper than that. But I had to do all of that. And then I also had to do these orders for this other guy who was out that he was texting me. On my lips, I'm going to be using this. This is also from the Unearthly Cosmetics mystery box. I don't know how I'm going to like it. I don't really like when my lips are super light. If I don't like it a lot, I'm going to add this to it. This is a Fresh Kiss lip cream from ColourPop. This is from their Valentine's Day last year. It's called Heaven. I love this like so much, but I just want to see if I can make this neutral lip work for me. Anyway, so I did all that, and then the next day, another responsibility that I have is in the morning when I come in, my boss gives me stats. It's a bunch of papers that say how many calls everyone in my department took the day before, how many calls out there were for each person, which I don't know why, but even if I do call out, there's never anything for me. Something must be wrong with the way that the phone is like keeping track of my stats, because my number is always 0 for outgoing calls. I don't call out a lot. I usually just pick up. But yeah, I don't know. Most of my calls, or all of my outgoing calls, are just ignored. But anyway, that's besides the point. I don't even care about that. And then I also can see how many orders everyone put in, how many lines on each order, how much money the orders are. So believe me, like, I'm aware of what's going on in that department, just by the way. And so I'm also aware of, when I'm being kind of treated unfairly. But anyway, on this particular day, so she writes down the numbers of calls and puts it on this piece of paper, because the stack of papers, because it doesn't just print out. She has to, it's on a thing, whatever. She writes it down for me, and then I put all this information into the computer, and it keeps track of all these things for us. How do we like that, by the way? Do we like that? I think I might like it. Maybe I'll add the pink later. I don't know. We'll see. Let me start doing the eye look, though. Oh, I didn't say the name of the highlighter, or did I say the name of the blush either? The blush is called Gigi. I don't know if you can still get it. I'm gonna guess probably not, and this one's called Danny. I assume that those products are no longer available, but let's do the eye look now. Sorry if I'm all over the place. I hope I'm doing a good job telling this story. It's the ADD, you guys, the ADHD that I have not been officially diagnosed with, but that I'm fairly certain that I have. Oh gosh. Anyway, so next to my number, I had only taken 12 calls that day. By the way, all day that Monday, people were like, you good over here? You've been busy all day. Other people in my department, they're like taking notice that I'm pretty swamped doing things. But all day, I was fine. I was on top of it. It was just a lot. So I was like, no, I'm fine. Everything's good. We're fine. I'm good. So anyway, next day, I go to put in these stats. I want to keep this kind of brown. I'm going to start with bittersweet. I go to put in these stats. And next to my number of calls, I have 12 calls. My boss puts this little, dissatisfied face. She used to, when I first started, I had nothing else to do. So I was just picking up the phone like crazy. Like I was the master of the phone. And so she would put little smiley faces when I had the most calls and like, wow, and all this stuff. This day, it's been a while since she's done that. This day, she like half-heartedly like tapped this face onto this piece of paper, this little dissatisfied, like disappointed kind of face. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, yo, are you kidding me? Like, she fully did not appreciate all the stuff that I had been doing that day, and she put like this dissatisfied face on the paper. And maybe I shouldn't be upset about that, right? Maybe it's not a big deal, it's just a weird little dissatisfied face. I keep questioning this, honestly. Like, should I even care? But you know what it comes down to is I need more money, and my boss's opinion of me is going to affect whether or not I make more money. Like, I make not a lot at my job. I don't even work a full 40 hours, just because of how my schedule is and everything. And you guys, like, I asked for a raise. So I started this new position. I was doing something else in this job for like a year and a half. I started this position in like August of, it must have been, I think, was it 2021? How long have I been in this damn position? I don't know. Yeah, it has to have been. So it was August 2021. 7 months later. So I got a pay raise for switching positions, right? As you might expect. But then 7 months later, I'm like, am I going to get another raise? Like, what's going to happen? I kind of could use more money. This was right when gas prices were like really skyrocketing and killing me. My car only takes premium gas. So I'm sorry that I'm like going back in time with this story, by the way, but just giving you a little bit more context as to why any of this even matters. I asked my coworker about it because she had been in the department longer, and she was like, yeah, they give us like one raise a year. Our boss said it's supposed to be whatever, like April. She's supposed to do like evaluations, and we're supposed to get raises based on that. Well, I got a 50-cent raise, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's not bad at all. Like, okay, fair. But I was a little distraught because I felt like I had taken on a lot of responsibility by then. Like, I know that I had. And with everything happening with inflation and gas prices, I really could have used some more. And I asked some of my other friends who work in another department. I'm going to take this deep dark chocolate shade, darken the outer corner. I asked some friends who work in another department, and they both said that they also got a 50-cent raise. And my other coworker in my department also said that she got a 50-cent raise. So then I was thinking, like, so this was just like a blanket thing that went out. This had nothing to do with an evaluation. This had nothing to do with my work. This was just something that they were like, all right, whatever, let's just give everybody a 50-cent raise. And that kind of bummed me out because it's like, I have been putting effort into this job and like doing a good job, getting better at what I'm doing. You know, I learn new things. I don't say no to things. I've been, I think, a pretty decent worker. And so to see that this raise that I got was not based on any kind of merit or anything, it was just like this universal thing, that kind of bummed me out. This feels sticky. I think I talked about this in another video, the video where I first tried these kind of feel sticky, like I don't know, they just have like a tack to them and they feel kind of weird. I don't know. Anyway, so whatever. I was bummed about that, but I didn't want to make a stink about it. I didn't want it to be a big thing. And I kind of just figured that they were going to be like, oh, well, we just gave you a raise. We're not going to give you another one. So I waited. I waited another 6 months. And I said something to my boss. And what she said to me was, wait until I told her that I wanted to talk. We went and sat together and, in private. And I was like, I need more money. I just got married. I am looking to afford a home. And, I want to be able to save money and I just need more money. And so she was like, okay. Without even a thought, she was just like, wait until March. And I was like, I sat there and I was like, March. That was like another 6 months away, by the way, at the time that I was talking to her. It's coming up now, so I'm trying to just like stick it out and see what the hell happens. But she was like, wait until March. We give raises once a year. They're not going to want to give you a raise now. Before I get into brightening up, I'm going to take this chocolate liqueur shade on the outer part because I'm a little undecided about what I want on the lid. But I'm going to put a little bit of a dark shimmer on the outer part of the lid. Anyway. So she tells me that, and then I was expressing, concern over the fact that I didn't want people to think, like upper management or the ownership, whatever, to think that I am like not doing things, because they have a tendency to come over and talk to my boss, talk to, there's this older man, so sweet, I love this man to death, who used to own a business, but it was bought out by our business, or whatever, the business that I work for. So he's like a salesperson now, but he sits like with us in our office. He has someone that used to work at his business, now works for us, and she's like his right hand gal. And so the owners will sometimes come over and they'll like chat with him. And it's always like kind of in the morning when we're having kind of the slow part of the day. My phone just ran out of space, so I deleted some stuff and then I turned the phone off because that makes it like reset and it clears up a lot of space when you do that. It actually cleared up like over 100 gigs when I did that. But while the phone was off, I added some of the ColourPop lip cream, not even because of the color, but literally just because I didn't like the way that this was feeling. It's like a creamy formula, but it also is a little weirdly drying. But anyway, so there's an update. Back to whatever the hell I was saying. I don't want to talk about this for too long. I've already been talking about it for too long, and I'm explaining the hell out of it, but I feel like I just am wanting to give you the full context of everything. So yeah, they come over during a time of day, the owners come over during a time of day when we look, not very busy. It might look like we're not doing things. And so that is a concern that I have, or that I had at this point. At this point, I know nothing's gonna matter, so it doesn't even, I don't even, it's really frustrating. But, so there's that, and there were other things too. Like, my boss is kind of obsessed with giving us busy work. She gives us work that is really the job of other departments. I don't want to get into all of this stuff in this video, but there's a lot of reasons why I was concerned. So I spoke to my boss. I mentioned how I didn't want owners or whoever to think that I was like not doing as much as I was doing. And she was like, no, they know who my go-tos are in the department. They know that you guys are slow at that time of day. They know that you have periods where you're slow. And she was like, you are liked here. Like, I like you, your coworkers like you, the owners like you. I'm just swatching some shimmers. Oh God, I don't know what I want to do. I actually kind of want to go in with just like a matte and then maybe top it a little with a shimmer. Let's do that. But yeah, so she was kind of trying to like reassure me that nobody, I guess, thinks that I'm doing nothing, which I don't know. I don't know how true that is, because sometimes she makes it sound like she thinks that I'm doing nothing. Whatever, we had this whole conversation, and she was like, the thing that really drove me crazy was, at the end of the conversation, it was like, you're probably not going to get a raise now. She said she would talk to the owners. I don't know if she did. Nothing came of it if she did, because I didn't get a raise. She, at the end of the conversation, she was just kind of like, so just keep doing what you're doing, which made me mad because honestly I felt like I needed to have this conversation with her because I was setting a price for what I was doing. I wasn't saying like, oh, please give me more money, I promise I'll do more work. I was saying like, this is the work that I'm doing, and this is, I think that I deserve to get paid a little bit more for it, like, that's what I was saying. By the way, I'm taking this Irish cream shade. I don't know if it's working though. It doesn't seem to be doing a ton for me. But anyway, so that upset me because it was like, you're gonna have to just keep doing what you're doing for the next 6 months without more money, while gas prices are skyrocketing, inflation is out of control, but we're just going to keep using you the way that we've been using you without paying you more. And then 6 months from now, which, like, who knows what's going to be happening 6 months from now, but in 6 months you'll be considered for a raise. That's how the conversation basically ended. And at that point, I kind of said, you know what? If that's how this is going to be, I'm kind of just going to work based on the pay that I'm getting, I mean, I still am doing a lot, but I'm not freaking out over, like, trying to seem like the issue is, at the place that I work, doing a good job is punishable with more work. It is not something that you will get paid more for. It's something that you will get punished for by being given more work and more responsibility without more pay. This was the issue that I was having. And it was not resolved when I had that conversation with my boss. So for months, I've just kind of been dealing with it, just kind of trying to make the most of it and not freaking out about things as much as I can. I almost just dropped my palette. God, this is not what I wanted to talk about in this video. But I kind of needed to vent all at once. Just trying to get through it and not make a stink. Not going above and beyond, but, not being a bad worker either, like, clearly. Because I'm not a bad worker. Like, that's not who I am in any capacity. I just can't be like that. I always kind of feel like I have to prove it to myself that I'm better than that, I don't know. So, back to a couple weeks ago. Back to that, right? So, I feel like I need to maybe spray this or use my finger. Hold on. So I was aggravated by the little disappointed face, right? The week goes by. I don't have as much to do for the one salesman whose emails I had to take care of. That was much better. It's much better with your finger. But I still, was doing his stuff all week. And then the other salesperson who was texting me orders, it wasn't like super consistent. It was like he would text me a few orders and then a few hours later text me a few more orders. And it was literally fine. I even told him, like, you were very easy to work with. That's not the case with all salespeople. Like the guy that I help on a regular basis, I don't want to be talking smack, but he's really not particularly grateful. He only contacts me if something is wrong. And he freaks out over very small things. And, there's another salesperson that one of my coworkers helps, and I will help him as well. And when my coworker is out, my boss will tell him to contact me, which, by the way, on that Monday, when I had all those emails and the big orders from the guy who was texting me, my coworker was also out, and I walked into an email from my boss. I was CC'd on an email from my boss directed to the guy that my coworker helps, saying, my coworker, whatever, is out. If you need anything, contact Paul. By the way, my name is Paul. So that's what I came into, and I was kind of just like, okay, whatever. Well, she said, contact Paul or whatever. Like, you can also contact anybody in customer support, whatever. But she specifically named me. And I'm just going to take this gold shade with my finger, Rich, and I'm going to tap it on the center of my lid. So beautiful. So whatever. I wasn't too stressed about it. At the end of the day, he was sending in orders to the email and stuff, the customer support email. But my coworkers were covering it. Like, it was literally fine. They did kind of keep asking me things, which was kind of, I don't know, annoying. I don't want to be mean, because it's not their fault at all. But they kept checking with me for everything. I was barely even looking at the emails that were coming into customer support, unless they were the emails for the guy that I was covering and doing his emails, because there were so many of them, and I had to check them all. There was a ton of that, plus I was getting all these orders over text at the end of the day, because the end of the day is when we're the busiest. And so I was dealing with all of these things, and my boss wasn't even aware. And you might be thinking oh, well, why didn't you make her aware? I don't understand why she wasn't aware, because she specifically asked me to help the one guy who was out, and she knew that the guy that I always help was also out, or at least she should have known. Isn't her job to be on top of this stuff? I don't know. It's just so frustrating, because it's I'm expected to do my job, maybe some other people's jobs, but my boss, who, is making decent money, she's living on her own, I couldn't live on my own if it wasn't, I couldn't have this apartment if it wasn't for my husband. We pay for this together. I couldn't afford something on my own. Not in a million years could I afford something on my own with the money that I'm currently making. I'm going under the eye with Irish cream, which was what I brought in to this part of my lid. And, there's a higher expectation for me to, be doing all this stuff and never having... I guess, so I'm getting frustrated talking about this, so now I'm starting to like lose my train of thought because my head is going all over the place. But anyway, so I'm not making more money. My boss is not paying attention to what I'm doing. And then, so we have this side project that we've been expected to do. Do I even want to deepen up the outer corner with that? Maybe I'll just take the littlest bit of bittersweet and just put the tiniest bit out here. But we have this little side project that we're doing that's literally busy work. It has no consequences. I think I mentioned earlier, my boss likes to give us busy work and like extra work to make us look busy. I don't know if the owners are telling her that we don't look busy enough. I don't know if they feel like they're not getting their money's worth out of us or what. But I mean, I don't know. She's like obsessed with giving us work to do. And whatever. Like, it's easy. It's menial, stupid tasks. But it's also stupid work. So it's like if I talk to my coworker, she has like this thing about me and my coworker who sits behind me. She like doesn't like when we talk for some reason. She doesn't seem to mind when anyone else talks. She really doesn't. But she's fixated on like making sure that we don't talk. No idea why. It's really incredibly unfair. So what happened on this past Tuesday? Oh, actually, before I tell you the rest of Tuesday, let me finish up the week that I was covering. The very last day that I was covering for the guy who was texting me the orders, she noticed. I said something about it, actually. She asked me how I was doing or something, or what I don't know. I think she saw that I was on my phone. So she said something to me, and I was like, oh, yeah. I've just been putting in these orders for, this guy. I didn't call him this guy. I called him by name, but... So she was like, oh, you're doing that? And I was like, yeah. I wanted to be like, yeah, you gave me this. You asked me to do this. And she was like, oh. And then I showed her some of the orders, and she was like, oh, those are big orders. And she was like, oh, is it hard doing it over the text and whatever? I was like, no, like, it's fine. Like, I'm perfectly fine at doing my job, but, like, I wish that it was appreciated. So then she, on Friday, I don't work. So she was dealing with him on Friday. He was texting her the orders. And my coworker told me that on Friday while I was out, she was having the hardest time with it. My boss was having the hardest time with just like getting the orders in over text. I don't know. It's just like... I'm getting so frustrated talking about this. So that was that week, and then the very next week, that Tuesday, so we're doing this ridiculous busy work that my boss gave us, right? But on this particular day, I do it, and I do it fast because I'm, I don't know, not a moron. And so I had been doing it, whatever, and I had done a couple pages of it that day. But then my boss comes out of her office and sees me talking to my coworker behind me. And she's like, oh, are you guys doing the supplementals, which is what we're doing. That's what it's called. And it's literally just entering in names of products for the online ordering. Like, it's not a big deal. And it's not even a time sensitive thing. Like, we're putting in these names for products that might never go up on our website. They're definitely not on there now, and they might never go up. But we're just expected to do this because it's busy work and they want us to be doing it. Oh, that's the wrong shade. Whoops. So she comes out of her office and she's like, oh, are you guys doing the supplementals? And I'm like, yeah, like, we're doing it. because I had been doing it. And, you know, it's like she can come out of her office and be like, oh, you're not doing enough. You shouldn't be talking. But when I'm like swamped, it's crickets. She doesn't even know that it's happening. She doesn't even know that I'm busy. That is so unmotivating. Being told that I had to wait 6 months to get a raise, but keep doing what I'm doing. That was supposed to be air quotes. That was demotivating. And then having it made perfectly clear to me over and over that the work that I do is not appreciated. But if she sees me looking at my phone or talking to someone, that it's like, oh, you need to be doing the busy work. Got to do that busy work that doesn't affect anything. And it's really upsetting. And I got really upset that day. I did feel sick, but not because I was like ill, but because work. So I was really upset. Oh, and then she started going off about how my other two coworkers are killing it. They're doing so many of the supplementals. I started initialing every page that I was doing before I put it on the done pile, which, you know, nobody was doing it first. I noticed, though, that once I started doing it, everyone else started doing it. Just to show, like, this is how many I've been doing. I take stacks and I do it, and then I take the stack back and I put it on the done pile. And so she's like, oh, you know, your coworkers, whatever, she's, you know, said their names. They've been killing it, blah, blah, blah. They're doing such a good job. And it's like, are you kidding me right now? Why are you ragging on me and my coworker that I was talking to vocally to the whole department, essentially? And you know what else too that pisses me off, you know, being that I want to be able to get a raise and not be poor forever. I know that she goes around and tells other departments that our department needs more work. The amount of times I hear her say, we're so dead. She says it all the time. And the thing is, she doesn't even know how much work we're actually doing. She's not paying attention. She knows that she's bored, sitting in her office, looking at her phone. She doesn't have anything to do. And she doesn't even know the things that we're doing. Like, we have a lot on our plates throughout the day. Yes, there are slow times. There are times where we're going to talk. There are times where we're going to look at our phones. But there are also times when we're crazy busy. I don't need to have my downtime used for busy work. I'm not a child. I get that I'm there being paid, but like, you're paying for my time and I am doing my job. It's not like I'm not. I'm giving you my time. I'm here. This is what you're paying me for. I'm waiting for the real work to come through. And, you know, I'll do some of the busy work. I'll do a few pages of these supplementals, but I'm not going to spend hours doing that. I'll put it aside, breathe for a little while, and then go back to it when I'm feeling like I want to and like I can. It's really upsetting, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do because I really want to leave my job. Maybe I'll show this video to my HR department. I don't know. I don't know who I need to talk to. There's... My boss is like friends with the owners, and I happen to know that if you complain in that place, it doesn't really get you anywhere. It just makes you look bad. So I know that nothing's going to be done, and I just want to leave, and I don't know what to do. So that's been my week. I did go back to work Wednesday. I was, you know, okay, I guess. I worked the rest of the week. I was okay. But I don't... she wanted me to cover on Friday today. And I was like, honestly, I have other things to do, which I do. I have this, and I have other things. I need to fix my house. My house is an absolute pigsty. That's what I'm going to use my time for, you know? Not coming in to cover. I have things that I consider more important that I need to be doing. God, I wanted to talk about more fun things in this video, but it ended up being a rant video. You know what? The makeup is on, but I'm gonna keep talking just a little bit because I want to talk about some fun things. Is that okay? Are you ready for some fun things? I've been talking about miserable things for like 40 minutes, but this stuff is gonna come off on my mug. Can't wait. I wanted to talk a little bit. This is gonna sound so dumb, but I wanted to talk a little bit about straight boys. I know, hard left turn, right? But I was just watching an ASMR video, and this cute straight boy, whatever, just, they're so optimistic and like, they have like this whole air about them. Anytime that I've been around like a cute, young, straight guy who, you know, has like a good family, whatever, it's always really fascinating to me how positive they are and how just like sweet and bubbly they can be. I used to work with some really cute, happy straight boys. I loved them all so much because they were just the sweetest little angels on earth. And it's just so funny to me. The thing that got me wanting to talk about this was I was watching this ASMR video and the kid said something about like how he thinks that it's so great to exist. Not to be like Debbie Downer, not to be morbid. I have never ever in my life felt that way. I guess I'm just depressed, but never in my life have I ever been like, oh, it's so great to exist. No. Existing is miserable. I say it all the time. Like, life is just too freaking hard. And, you know, like I was just talking about my issues with work, but like I have these issues in every aspect of my existence. There's so much that is so difficult. And these happy, cheerful, cute young dudes are just bopping around with their positivity and, you know, pooping out rainbows. I don't even know. Rainbows, gay stuff. And it's funny because when I was growing up, I really thought that straight guys would never like me. I thought that they would hate me forever. And I didn't get along with guys in school. My male friends who in high school I thought were straight came out later that they were gay. So I never had straight male friends growing up. Straight guys were mean to me. So I always was so self-conscious around straight guys, and I've always had issues with that. I had a situation where I was not sure what was going on with a coworker at one point who I couldn't tell what his deal was because he was confusing me. I don't know how to say this, but like he was confusing me. Like I was just getting all these weird mixed signals and stuff. And I guess he was just being a weird little happy straight boy. But I wanted to like talk to him about it and just be like, can we clear this up? That blew up in my face because, I'm not going to tell you that whole story, but that didn't end well. I was in my early 20s at that point. But then later on, I don't know, it was like the older I got, I don't know if I was becoming more confident, if I was becoming just like smarter about things, if I was not letting things bother me as much, or if it was that the world was changing. But things just got a lot easier for me when it came to straight guys. I actually find that straight guys like me a lot more. Like they like me kind of immediately, and gay guys, weirdly enough, are the ones that I don't get along with. Whereas when I was young, I always thought that it would be the opposite. I always wanted to find like the gay community and like meet other gay guys, but like I don't know if it's just my area. I just burped, I'm sorry. I don't know if it's just my area, but guys around here are mean and shallow and catty, and they just want to like use you for, you know, their purposes, if you know what I mean. And I always also felt very kind of judged by other gay men who I I know that I am pretty effeminate just inherently. I've had a lot of people tell me like, no, you can't even tell you're gay. Well, you're not that effeminate. I know that I'm effeminate. People can tell that I'm gay. I know that. But I never like wanted to necessarily be like that. Not because I'm like self-loathing and deep-seated homophobic, whatever. I mean, look at me. I have a makeup channel now. Like, I'm not that person. But I still want to be male presenting. I still want to be kind of masculine for a number of reasons. I feel safer that way, honestly. Although, again, I go out wearing makeup now. I don't even care. Come at me. I dare you. I promise you're not as crazy as I am. Oh, God, I shouldn't be saying any of this on the internet. I'm going to get fired. I'm going to get arrested. Whatever. But anyway, I would kind of, with gay men, whenever things like that came up, I was always like, I could do a whole video talking about this, and I probably will at some point. But they were always like, oh, you need to just embrace your feminine side and everything. And I was like, that's not really what the problem is. I'm not embracing my feminine side. I'm not being chauvinistic. I'm not being whatever, homophobic. I just want something for myself. And I don't know, gay guys always kind of tried to make me feel guilty about that. And I didn't appreciate that. So that, on top of everything else that I experienced with other gay men and everything, it was just like, I don't know. I never got along with gay guys, as it turned out. Like, the more I met them, I was like, I don't like any of this. My husband is bi, by the way. I love bi guys. Bi guys are great. Bi girls too. Oh my God, I love bi girls. What is with the bis? The bis. they're just great. I don't know. If you're bi, I probably like you. Just saying. But anyway, geez, this video is so long now. I just wanted to talk about something a little bit more positive and a little bit more happy. But yeah, I was so nervous when I went to work at the place that I'm working now, because I was originally working with a bunch of guys and doing like stuff in a warehouse and, you know, kind of like manly man stuff. And like, I was nervous. I was afraid that I was gonna, when I was working at the restaurant, I started to notice that, because I used to work in a restaurant, I said that like you should know. When I was working in a restaurant, I started to notice that guys thought that I was hilarious, didn't care that I was gay. Younger guys seemed to be just impressed with, I don't know, my personality. I don't know if it was my confidence or what. They thought I was so funny. I'm always very protective of younger guys. I have like the dad thing going on where I always just want to protect younger guys. Younger girls too, but it's a little different with guys. So maybe they liked that. They saw that in me. Hi, cutting in here because I realized after I finished filming that I forgot to say one of the most important things that I wanted to say about straight boys, and that's honestly just the fact that their sort of blind optimism and kind of sweetness is so attractive and so cute to me, and I want to just preserve that. Like, I love that so much. Like I said, I'm very protective of younger guys, and God, when guys are like that, I'm always like, oh, I just want to wrap you in blankets and keep you in a safe place. I want you to be like that forever. Whatever, I can't make that happen, but I wish I could. Anyway, back to the video. Could tell that I was like kind of looking out for them, but I started to notice that straight guys weren't as close-minded to the kind of person that I was as I expected them to be, based on my high school experience. And things that I saw on television and in the news. So I went to work at this place and I was nervous, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be me, and I'm not gonna freak out too much about it. And that worked, honestly. The guys there all loved me. They're not all there anymore. I'm not in the same department, but you know, doing the work wasn't the best experience, but the guys that I met there and the way that I'm still so self-conscious. I always feel like guys don't like me as much as they like their straight friends, which honestly is true. Like, that is true. Most guys don't want to get closer to me, if you want to say it that way. I've always noticed that there's a little bit of a wall. And I do feel self-conscious about that, but I appreciate the fact that guys do enjoy my company and like talking to me and think that I'm great. I don't know, like they're interested in me. And so I often wish that I could go back to my younger self and be like, hey, you'll be okay. Like, straight guys are gonna love you one day. You'll be fine. Just don't let these idiots bother you. But you know, kids these days, if you want to say it that way, don't know that even for me, I'm 30 years old. I grew up in a really different world. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but it was a completely different world. So it's kind of crazy, and whenever I think about it, it's always like, wow, thank God. Like, I don't know, it's just I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all of the relationships that I do have with straight men, because I've always wanted male friends, and I have one guy friend who is he's ridiculous. He's like so comfortable with me. I don't know if he's gonna like watch this video, but like, hey John, what's up? He's like my most ridiculous straight friend. He's one of my closest friends, and I, do things with him all the time, and he literally, like, I can like cuddle with him. He doesn't care. Like, I like guys like that who don't, it's, it's not like, oh, I'm a man, I can't sit that close to you. I feel like I should do the Kermit sip, like, I'm just saying. Or wait, no, what is it? It's none of my business or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. It's latent homophobia. All you people. Yeah, that sentence went somewhere. Oh God, this video is starting to fall apart. I mean, it was a mess from the beginning. I'm very happy with my look, though. Do you like my look? I think it's diesel. I think it's awesome. Sexy. The brows, I think, are working. I'm hoping that I don't have to do much editing for this video. I'm trying to like talk as much as I can so that there's no awkward silence, because that drives me nuts. This is gonna be such a long video though, so before it gets too long and it's like, oh, nobody wants to watch a video that's like an hour and a half long, I am gonna kind of end this. Tell me what you guys want to see. You guys, it seems like it honestly seems like no one on the internet is interested in my fantasy color stories videos, except for just like a couple people, myself included, who really love the series. I don't know if I need to change my thumbnails. I don't know if I need to, I don't know what I need to do, but I really want that series to kind of get off the ground, I want to get more views on those. You guys, I've not been getting many views on anything that I post. I don't know. It's a nightmare out here. I'm just trying to do whatever I can. Oh my god, I burped. Stop it. Okay, so anyway, that's going to be the end of the video. You can check me out every... When is this going up? This is going up on Sunday. You can check me out every Sunday and every Wednesday. I have been posting every Sunday and every Wednesday since October. I'm doing a good job. Not getting more followers recently, but I'm consistent at least. Oh, check out my last video, my collab with Hannah from Hannah's Room. I still don't know when her video is going up, or at least today when I'm filming. I don't know when her video is going up, her like part 2, when she's going to be using the color story that I created for Yoshimitsu as an inspiration for an eye look. But check that out whenever that happens, hopefully soon. But again, no rush, Hannah. I love Hannah. She's so great, and she supports my Fantasy Color Stories series. I think that's so great. But anyway, check that out if you haven't already. It could use some views. It doesn't have very many. Tell your friends about me if you think that this channel is great. Trying to grow the channel. God, it would be so nice if I could make some money. You know, I just told you about my struggles, you know, what's going on there. But yeah, I don't know. I hope I don't get fired for posting this video. But I just had to vent. I really had to vent because it's been a struggle. If you want to hear me talk more about my experience with being a gay man, that's something that I've also wanted to talk about on YouTube, because I feel like I have a pretty unique perspective. My experiences are not universal for sure. So if you want to hear about that, let me know. Oh god, if you made it all the way through, I've been filming for so long. If you made it all the way through this video, let me know that as well. Sorry if it's super long. My Instagram is that dude in makeup with an underscore between every word. I know that's annoying, but like whatever, it is what it is. Decisions were made. Maybe they were the wrong ones. I don't know. Check me out on there, and I will be seeing you on Wednesday. Have a great day, week, whatever. Peace.